brought to you by ASICS, and we are thrilled to have it here on our Pac-12 networks. Take a look at the lineups here tonight for Penn State, Holly.
Penn State has talent everywhere, but the freshman to look for, number 5, Ali Franti. High flyer, hits the ball really hard.
On the other side for the Stanford Cardinal, they will start things off like this.
On the opposite, Morgan Bocather, a senior, is finally healthy and putting up career numbers right now for Stanford.
So much talent on the court, but sitting on the sidelines, a lot of talent as well. 2 legends in the coaching ranks, John Dunning and Russ Rose. Russ Rose, 1,128 career wins in his 36th season as the head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions. And then for John Dunning, his 14th season as the head coach of the Stanford Cardinal. Pretty phenomenal what they've done.
2 living legends and class acts, really nice guys.
Very nice to talk to. And smiles on the faces of the Stanford Cardinal, as well as Penn State. Both teams coming in, they have yet to be beaten. They have yet to give up a set to start their seasons. And you mentioned earlier, Holly, Stanford, number 2 in the nation. They've lost to Penn State last season in the regional final, and then Penn State went on to win the national championship. But both of these teams know it's a different season, different teams out there.
Absolutely, for sure. Penn State has 3 freshmen on the floor. Different team. They lost 3 All-Americans. Russ Rose thinks they're the underdog. On the other side of the net, an experienced and motivated Stanford team. They are hungry to beat this Penn State team right now.
Absolutely. John Dunning told us that they are motivated, no doubt about it, after facing this team and losing in the NCAA tournament. And it's Nia Grant back to serve for Penn State. Outside, big shot. There, off the tip and the finish. Point number 1 goes to Penn State.
And off the hand of freshman Ali Franti. Russ Rose, coach for Penn State, talked about it. She likes to hammer the ball, doesn't see the block, but she's a high flyer and can put that ball away for Penn State.
Cardinal went to Brittany Howard on the other side, and Penn State went to their freshman, and just going long that time to the middle of Ajanaku.
Set was a little low. Ajanaku could not get on top of the ball. Air in favor of Penn State.
Timing always a question mark early in the season. And there you see Nia Grant, one of the seniors for this Penn State team. Just gets that one over. Back set to Burgess and straight down.
Beautiful quick back set by Maddie Bugg to Morgan Bocather, who's having a huge preseason. She's finally healthy, according to her coach John Dunning, and she's putting up some very good numbers.
Morgan Bocather, one of the captains for this team, and happy to be in that starting lineup. Franti off the hands of libero Kyle Gilbert, and the free ball. Quick set in the middle, that time to Whitney. Penn State keeps it alive. Franti again. Off the block of Stanford, and point. And so back to the Nittany Lions.
Watch Ali Franti hit high off the hands of the block. If she's not seeing the block, that's a very smart swing. High hands, Stanford's got a big block on her.
Micah Hancock, the senior setter, one of the best servers in the nation. A tough lefty serve goes long, so a break for the Cardinal.
You talk about Micah Hancock, one of the best servers in the country. Russ Rose really credits the rotation where she served last year for the success they had. They had 3 All-Americans in the front row with Micah Hancock serving, a lot of success. One of the best, in my opinion, her and Samantha Briso, best servers in the country.
They are phenomenal. 2-time Big Ten setter of the year. The set outside and the tip by Megan Courtney. And somehow Kyle Gilbert keeps it alive. Back set to Megan Courtney. Down the line. Too much though for the Cardinal.
Interesting play by Penn State. They started that play by setting Megan Courtney on the left side and then going the other way as well. On the right side, quick back set with success.
Simone Lee will rotate back in, and back to serve is Franti off the net. Back set to Ajanaku, up and over everybody.
That's what Inky Ajanaku does better than any everybody. She elevates, high wrist snap, finds the floor for Stanford. Starts with a good pass, off one foot, high contact, big seam in that block.
Holly, they didn't quite find her in the middle earlier, but they found her there, and it's important for the Cardinal to get her going early. Tough serve by Gilbert. Simone Lee handles it, though, finds that back line. It goes back to Penn State.
Stanford's got a lot of size at the net, but right now Penn State making some good decisions offensively.
Another senior for Penn State, back to serve, Dominique Gonzalez, libero out of San Antonio. Maddie Bug tips it over to Jordan Burgess, who just got that one across. Lee off the block and out of bounds. Point, Penn State.
Penn State's so athletic, elevating to a level that a lot of teams cannot elevate to, and they are hitting and abusing the Stanford block right now.
Gonzalez started all of last season as well. That time the serve into the net, and it'll get it back to the Cardinal.
Coach Russ Rose talked about with us on the conference call, we feel good about our team. We've got a good libero and a good setter. That's a great place to start. Both teams have very strong liberos and great setters.
Maddie Bug with the serve. Lee, little roll shot over the block. And it's picked up. Short, quick to the middle. Nia Grant, the block was there for the Cardinal.
Nice help on the block by Morgan Bocather for Stanford. Helped close that block at the end. First, Jordan Burgess keeps this rally alive, and then Bocather and McGee seal the net.
Served by Bug, out to Megan Courtney. Gets a lot on it. Second ball taken over by McGee in the middle. She just set it out to Bocather. Big swing by Megan Courtney, the junior out of Dayton, Ohio, and the point will go to Penn State.
Penn State doing a fantastic job feeding the right sider so quick. Megan Courtney has the advantage every time.
She's hitting the best right now for Penn State, hitting 500 so far on the season. The serve, not handled by Howard in the back. She says, my bad. It'll go back to the Nittany Lions.
Russ Rose talks about Megan Courtney as one of his best all-around players. She's scoring from the back row as well as the front.
Again down the line, Bug goes back to McGee, it goes into the block but out of bounds, and Stanford will get it.
Penn State also has size at the net. Stanford, smart swing out of bounds, tooling the block.
Megan McGee, a junior out of Lee Summit, Missouri. She's good off one leg. John Zenning said a lot of times she'll do everything off of one leg.
Even in front of the setter, and that's unusual.
Burgess with the serve, and too much. Jordan Burgess with the service error, and it'll go right back to Penn State. Burgess, the junior out of Fort Myers, Florida. All-American honorable mention last season. Several All-Americans back for the Cardinal as Fuller had the serve. Howard off the block and in, points Cardinal.
Nice little combination by Stanford, two quicks. Brittany Howard comes inside. She had a big block and it was closed, but she hit high hands, finds the floor.
That'll bring Megan McGee back to serve. Back set, big swing for Nia Grant, and she'll take it right back.
Penn State having a lot of success on the right side of the floor. They feed that ball really quick to their hitters. Right now, Stanford can't stop them.
Russ Rose very happy with Nia Grant and what she's doing offensively. He said still working on her defense, but very happy with her hitting. Tough serve, Burgess struggled, and it's a free ball. Outside to Allie Franti, and Holly, she's above everybody.
Wow, that is a high snap with power over Inky Ajanaku. I am impressed.
John Dunning wants to make some adjustments. The timeout by the Cardinal. 4-point lead here in set number one by number one Penn State.
Your team, your network. Football on Pac-12 Networks.
Hogan looking big down the field. Throws the seam, and Devin Kajus has a Stanford touchdown.
Pac-12 women's volleyball is presented by ASICS. Better your best.
Beautiful day here in Stanford, California, as we head into evening in set number one. Number one Penn State up by 4 over number 2 Stanford. And Holly, this Stanford team very experienced coming in. Penn State, the team that won national championship last year, is a very different team, not quite as experienced, but right now they're playing well. What's the difference?
Well, Stanford's known as a ball control team, and they're not passing the ball well. They're making hitting errors. I think nerves are a factor early in this first set.
Bocather can't get it past the block. Nice pickup by Gilbert, but into the net, and another point for Penn State out of that timeout.
Penn State right now they're young and they're fearless. They're going for it. Ali Franti is going up and hitting over a huge Stanford block. So I feel like Penn State's kind of like, hey, we're young, 3 freshmen on the floor. We have nothing to lose.
Russ Rose told us, 8 new players. Sometimes when you're young, you hesitate. Those decision-making situations, you're not quite sure what they're going to do. Right now, they're getting it done. And another free ball situation sent over. Franti up and in. She is the real deal.
I've been super impressed with Ali Franti. She is elevating. She's getting a consistent set and jumping high and finding the court.
Another timeout called by John Dunning, and we'll stay here for you. And it's interesting to see what's happening here in set number one. John Dunning's got to make some adjustments, but these are two the winningest programs out there, and they are tied with 6 championships apiece. John Dunning had 4 of them at Stanford, and Russ Rose, what he's done in 36 seasons, pretty phenomenal.
Penn State, 5 of the last 7 NCAA titles. Blows my mind. I didn't even think it was possible, but he continues to dominate, reload, and do it again. I have nothing but respect for him and what he's doing at Penn State.
4 of the 6 Stanford championships go to Don Shaw. John Dunning, 2 of those. He had 2 championships as the head coach at Pacific also, but really spectacular what these programs have meant for the women's college game.
Absolutely, these are the top programs. They continue to recruit. Last year, Penn State wins the title and reloads with the #1 recruiting class. Top recruit Haley Washington, who's at Penn State, hasn't even seen the court. And you're seeing 3 freshmen already contributing for Penn State. That's super important.
For Russ Rose's team, he said there's really no secrets. Last year was one of the best rotations. You mentioned 3 All-Americans and Micah Hancock serving. And he said, we're really not sure this year who the leader's going to be. They're still trying to figure it out, but they are enjoying this youth and having a good time with them.
It's nice to be young and athletic and be able to hit over the top of the block.
The #1 recruit class in the nation. 4 Gatorade Players of the Year have come in to join this Penn State team. As Grant continues to serve. The short quick to Inky Jockey, and the block read it all the way.
Ayanna Whitney, number 14 in blues. She's long at 6'4", didn't have to move, just up and over in the right spot.
Always talking at the net, Ayanna Whitney. Redshirt junior out of Norwood, New Jersey. Set out to Brittany Howard, and not quite where she wants it. Franti had to take a little off. Back set to Bocather, the block able to get a tip. There's Ali Franti, that time into the net. And an opportunity for the Cardinal.
That's a break for Stanford. Ali Franti trying to hit an impossible angle, but I like her attitude. She's going for it.
Well, Russ Rose told us that right now she's all power. She hasn't really been able to adjust and figure out other dimensions of her game, but he said, I'll just keep telling her, just keep hitting it hard. Out of the back, Bocather gets the point.
Big point for Stanford. That that's what you call a real point. When you serve, you defend it, and you score. That creates some momentum on the Stanford side.
Nice adjustments in that last time out by John Dunning for his team. We're seeing a little bit of different looks. They've tried Inky Ajanaku in the middle, now Bo Cather out of the back, and down the line, they'll say just out was Whitney.
Ayanna Whitney playing in the middle, but able to hit the high set as well. That shows nice versatility by her.
Bo Cather again. Hancock out to Whitney. That time she connects.
That particular rotation for Penn State, Allie Franti and Ayanna Whitney, split hitters. Micah Hancock is also an option.
Micah Hancock, two-time first-team All-American. She was the NCAA tournament most outstanding player last year in the NCAA championships. Howard again off the mark and just a little too high.
Trying to hit high hands of the Penn State block. Howard's going flat, but just misses the hands. Micah Hancock was the most outstanding player in the finals last year for NCAA, and Coach Russ Rose says she's improving all the time. That is amazing.
Amazing serve, and Stanford able to break and finally getting the middle going with Ajanaku.
That's what Stanford has. Inky Ajanaku, she's got some amazing on her side of the net. High snap, kill Stanford.
It starts with a beautiful pass by Jordan Burgess to set that up, and that'll put Brittany Howard back to serve. Hancock out to Megan Courtney, and they'll say yes, there was a touch. It'll go back to Penn State.
Megan Courtney, the best all-around player on the Penn State team, elevates him. Look at that turn down the line. Wow.
The junior out of Dayton, Ohio. And the serve that time goes long for Franti, and the Cardinal will get it back. Allie Franti, the Big Ten Freshman of the Week this past week, after winning the Penn State Classic. Her numbers were spectacular. Little one-handed tip by Hancock will send it over. Burgess up and over the block and finds the back corner.
Jordan Burgess finds the corner. Not a lot of power, but the direction and location was perfect for the Stanford kill.
That'll get this crowd into it as senior libero Kyle Gilbert goes back to serve. Four-year starter is Gilbert. To the middle, but wide is Whitney, point Cardinal.
Right now, Penn State hitting 320 as a team. Stanford hitting 235.
3-point lead here in set one for number one Penn State, but Stanford, a couple of timeouts. They've come back out. They are making some progress. And here's the Pac-12 success so far. 9 teams qualified, Holly, for the NCAA tournament last year. That was a record. How about all the All-Americans that are coming back? And it's already been a great start for the conference.
For sure. Everybody talks about Pac-12, Big Ten, which is the best conference, and that's why we're here tonight to see. But 13 AVC returning All-Americans. Last 4 AVCA Players of the Year came from the Pac-12. That's impressive.
And then 11 of the last 13 years, they have had a team in the championship game. And the most of any conference as far as championships go, 14. Really something, and always fun to watch these two conferences match up. We had talked about the top 25 poll. 6 teams from the Pac-12 in it right now, 7 from the Big Ten. There's no doubt that these are really the toughest conferences right now.
Top 2 conferences in the country, no doubt. And it's really who wins the title at the end. It's nice that you put a lot of teams into the tournament, but the NCAA title is what you want, and the edge goes to Penn State. 5 of the last 7, Penn State won the national title. So, in my opinion, winning the title means more than all the rest of those numbers.
It definitely does. And a big reason these teams are where they are is because of their tough scheduling, their non-conference scheduling. They are willing to play matches like this. It is great for the game of women's volleyball. So out of this timeout, see what Gilbert can do. Lead into the block, and it stays in. Big momentum shift for the Cardinal.
Maddie Bug and Megan McGee close this block. Maddie Bug got that solid, turned her hands into the court. Beautiful execution.
Bug, the 6-foot setter for the Cardinal, gives him good size at the net. Hancock's going to try Simone Lee again, this time off the block and in, and Penn State will take it back.
Penn State has 3 of the best pin hitters I've seen in a long time. They are hitting the ball from a very high contact point.
Back to serve Dominique Gonzalez, the libero. Bug up on the net, and Burgess able to quickly get to it. Back set to Courtney, and it's too much out of bounds, and it'll be a point for the Nittany Lions.
Penn State was hot at the beginning of this match. Their numbers have kind of cooled down with a few errors, but Stanford hasn't really done anything to achieve control of this first set.
John Dunning's going to bring Moretta Lutz in, the redshirt freshman out of Houston at 6'8". Little change and a look to the rotation. We'll see what she can do. And a little floating serve by Gonzalez fooled everybody in the back row for Stanford.
The bottom just dropped out of it, hit the back line. Penn State definitely has been serving the ball much tougher, getting Stanford in some passing trouble.
Frustration for the Cardinal on a play like that. Another tough serve. Outside to Burgess off the block, and the point and serve will go back to Stanford.
Now Stanford has 3 attackers in the front row. That last rotation, they were stuck with only 2. Jordan Burgess able to find her way out of that rotation.
Bug with the serve, back set for Megan Courtney. And it is down and in, and she will take it back.
Penn State continues to impress from the right side of the court as well. They've been effective from the left and the right, but I think unstoppable on the right with that quick ball to the pin.
Russ Rose will bring Megan Courtney out. That's going to bring in Kendall Pierce, the junior, back to serve. Burgess got it up. Lutz in the middle. Back set to Bo Cather. Lee has to roll it over. Burgess, a lot on it, but the block was there, and Hancock takes the second ball over and gets the point.
Micah Hancock is left-handed. That's a weapon. We haven't seen her use it too much, but this is perfect timing. Great decision by Micah Hancock. Knows exactly where to put it. The libero from Stanford was in the middle. Micah Hancock puts it away.
Burgess had to wait on it, tips it up and over. A beautiful pancake by Simone Lee to keep it alive. Lutz the set out to Bo Cather and just wide.
Moretta Lutz at 6'8", delivering a beautiful hand set to Morgan Bocather. Morgan Bocather just missed it wide. Look at the hands, beautiful, no rotation on that ball.
Redshirt freshman out of Houston. Tough one for Bug to get again, and Burgess had enough on that one to get it back.
Stanford needs to do a better job staying in system. They're not passing the ball well enough to utilize all their hitters in a good location.
John Dunning's team, they are making Maddie Bug, his setter, work very hard.
Number 11, Sydney Brown.
Sydney Brown will check in to serve, the freshman out of Tampa, Florida. Tough serve by Brown. Outside to Lee. The Cardinal keep it alive. Back set, the slide by Nia Grant, and she got every bit of it.
I don't mean to be repetitive, but Penn State from the right side is unstoppable. Stanford needs to find an answer to that to slow it down.
Lacey Fuller back in, a senior for Penn State to serve, and we are at set point. Little floater. Bug out to Brittany Howard off the block. Franti! Too far off the bat and a big block by the Cardinal.
Morgan Bocather in 6'8". Moretta Lutz for Stanford.
Holly, how about Bocather only playing 22 sets last year, had to really change her role. She comes in now, she's a starter, and as a senior, she's ready to play. But Lutz, the service error, will give set number 1 to Penn State. So the Cardinal tried to rally several times, but the Nittany Lions able to get it done in so many areas. We'll see if Stanford can regroup here as we head into set number 2.
This Pac-12 volleyball production is brought to you in high definition by Cox and Xfinity.
Yeah.
I'm getting some $185 million cash explosion tickets for everyone. Want one?
Cash explosion? Well, those don't exist. They're make-believe.
No, they're real Arizona Lottery scratchers. $20 gets you a chance at $2.5 million.
That's urban legend, my friend. Thanks, Vlad. No one believes in urban legends.
Hey, Vlad.
Then get me a cup of coffee.
Believe it. You can win millions with Cash Explosion, but you can't win if you don't play.
Is he still there?
I really wanted to play water polo because it was kind of that.
Good Old Tom's has been chosen by Barry Stein, a major sculptor artist, to represent him in Connecticut and Arizona. His American bronzes are limited editions. Each is individually numbered and is on a rotating bezel. His bronzes are permanently hand-colored by acid etching. He is displayed in museums and major businesses and is actively collected throughout the U.S. Come on by Good Old Tom's today and examine each of these breathtaking works of art.
Henry Repeating Arms is a family-owned business.
At Henry, we make sure that each part of every rifle is made in America.
Like gun barrel quality steel from Ohio, brass castings from Pittsburgh, and the finest American walnut from Missouri. We deliver an American-made rifle that you would be proud to own.
To own your own piece of American history, call now for your free Henry catalog and a list of dealers in your area, plus a free decal. Call now.
The Texas Barbecue Thick Burger with smoked brisket and jalapeno straws. New at Carl's Jr.
Back here at Maple Pavilion in Stanford, California, getting ready for set number 2 between the top 2 teams in the country. And it was number 1 Penn State taking set 1 over the Cardinal. Hi, Krista Blank along with Holly McPeak. Holly, set number 1 definitely was dominated by Penn State, but who in particular really stood out to you?
Well, freshman Ali Franti for Penn State was spectacular with 5 kills and 4 digs. I feel like Penn State played much more free. Stanford was nervous, made some ball control errors, and that's uncharacteristic like for this experienced team.
We don't expect that from the Cardinal, but not sure they were quite ready and expecting this.
Ali Franti's so smart. Not only did she have the power, but she was smart, hit high off the hands as well for Penn State.
5 kills for her, hitting .273, and she also had 4 digs, had a block as well. She's a great all-around player.
For me, I think Stanford did not stay in system enough. That means they need to pass the ball, get their hitters good looks where they have seams in the block. That was key, and they need to stop the right side attack from Penn State, or at least slow it down.
And you mentioned earlier this Penn State team, a very young team. Maybe a little more pressure on the Stanford Cardinal in that you lost to Penn State in the NCAA tournament last year. You know you have the majority of your team back. You've got that veteran team. You're here on your home court. There's a lot to live up to here.
Well, Russ Rose really acted like, hey, you know what? We couldn't get into Stanford as students, but we're coming to Stanford for an education. So he really painted their team as underdogs. But this Penn State team, they're hungry, they're talented. They don't feel like they're underdogs. They feel like they can compete, and you see they are.
They are young, and they are just playing. On the other side, John Dunning told us, though, he knows that Penn State's been great for a long time, and his team knows that as well. We'll see if they can make some adjustments. There's Hancock, the second ball over, a miss hit, and Franti took advantage of it.
6th kill for Ali Franti. Good opportunity, and she takes care of it.
Ali Allie Franti, the freshman out of Spring Grove, Illinois. Big Ten Freshman of the Week. Had back-to-back double-figure kills in their win against TCU and Iona. There's Hancock with that tough lefty jump serve. Burgess had to take some off. Franti, all power. Kyle Gill with the libero, keeps it alive. Megan Courtney, roll shot over. The tip is good, and the point goes to the Nittany Lions.
Because of Micah Hancock's serve from the back line, she takes Stanford out of system. And then Penn State just keeps attacking, keeps attacking, keeps attacking. It's a lot of pressure.
The All-American was no doubt a big factor with her serve in the NCAA tournament and just misses that back corner, the toss off the mark, and a break for the Cardinal.
Micah Hancock, that was a wild toss, but she missed that corner by inches.
Almost got it to work. Senior setter out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Madison Jordan Burgess back for the serve. Short, quick in the middle to Whitney. That one goes wide, and the point to the Stanford Cardinal.
Stanford doing a solid job transitioning that ball. The middle blockers for Stanford, both very efficient using their hands to set the ball in transition.
Burgess again. This one going all the way to the back row, and the free ball over. Bug tries to back set to Bocather, and it's tipped right back at her. Howard connects. Megan Courtney can't get it past the block, and that one off the net and out of bounds by Ayanna Whitney, and the point to the Cardinals.
I saw some good fight from Stanford on that side. They were able to stop the right side attack for Penn State for the first time, and they ended up winning that rally and scoring the point.
They take a slim lead here in set number 2. Burgess off the mark with that serve, took a chance and goes right into the net and off a teammate, and it'll go to Penn State. Lacey Fuller takes a seat. Allie Franti back to serve. Back set to Megan McGee and gets it to go.
Megan McGee, that's her third kill, putting up some pretty good Stanford kills in the middle.
Well, you can see off in the back there, the UCLA coaches getting ready. This is match 1 of a double header. A tough shot there from Simone Lee, not quite ready in the back row were the Cardinal. There you see UCLA. Our next match, number 9 Illinois in town, will take on UCLA. Match number 2 of our Pac-12 Big Ten Challenge.
UCLA scouting both of these teams for future matches.
Bug tries to go to the middle of Ajanaku, and somehow they get it. They will take it.
Stanford again out of system. They made a small adjustment, set it back to Inky Ajanaku is such a fantastic athlete. She can adjust and still put the ball away for Stanford.
Bocather to serve. Simone Lee can't get it over.
We've seen very few errors like that from Penn State. Stanford gaining some momentum.
There's Kevin Hamley and his assistants, the Illinois coaches, also scouting. A lot to take in with number 1 and number 2 here. Megan Courtney to the back. Down the line, though, is Morgan Bocather.
Stanford finding some success. You see that back row attack by Morgan Bocather. Fantastic did by Burgess.
Bocather just one of 2 seniors on this Stanford team. And has worked her way back into the starting lineup. Tough serve to handle. Out of the back, it'll go to the Cardinal. Ajanaku off the slide. She wanted the touch. She won't get it. It'll go back to Penn State.
We watched Inky Ajanaku warming up today, and she was not making great hand contact with the ball. Whiffed a couple balls. She's so high. I was surprised. But I haven't seen her get on top of the ball as well as she normally does.
And not typical. Definitely, we both looked at each other and said, that's not the Inky Ajanaku we know. And it's definitely not the one that Penn State prepared themselves for. But a lot of it has to do with the passing. And how about Bug with the dump?
Maddie Bug calls her own number. I like that. Perfect pass. Good decision by Maddie Bug to throw that ball down.
John Dunning said she has such a high IQ, and she is in charge out there, and he is so happy with how much she's matured. Pass off the mark, joust at the net, Ajanaku. Gets it, Burgess, just wide, and Jordan Burgess frustrated. She'd love to have that one back.
Again, Stanford out of system, high ball, big Penn State block in front of her, tough to put the ball away.
Jordan Burgess, an All-American honorable mention last year. Lacey Fuller back in to serve. Ajanaku off the slide, off the block, gets the point.
There's the hand contact we were looking for. Getting on top of the ball, wrist snap, driving the ball where you want it to go, and that's on the floor.
All about the timing as well, and it's all about the pass. Stanford gets the pass. They have Ajanaku ready. Franti, hard, off the block, out of bounds, and Penn State takes it back.
Stanford putting up better numbers offensively this set, hitting 333 as a team, as opposed to Penn State's 143. Those numbers were flip-flop in the first set.
192 for Stanford in set number one, but for Penn State, they are keeping their opponents way down with their numbers, so Stanford trying to rally back. Hancock, second ball over, right in the middle, and nobody there for the Cardinal.
Penn State has such fantastic athletic hitters. The blocker is stressed for Stanford, so they're thinking about the hitters and not the setter attacking the ball.
Bug, second ball over, Hancock tries to take that one in, the block read it all the way.
That ball went down on the Stanford side. Micah Hancock was able to squeeze that by the blocker.
All right, Micah Hancock, what a decision by the senior setter.
Most outstanding player for the 2013 NCAA tournament. One of the best servers in the country, and Russ Rose just describes her as tough, mentally and physically.
She definitely is. Hard shot from Burgess off of Hancock. They get it out to Franti, and she wanted to touch but won't get it. It's a point to the Cardinal.
One of the few errors from Franti so far. She was just a little bit early on her approach, and the block was on the way down. She couldn't find any hands.
They are just letting her play, and it's been very effective. Outside to Whitney, and it's straight down.
Ayana Whitney shows she can play. She's playing and lined up as a middle, but she hits that high ball really well. Her contact point is so high.
That will set up Micah Hancock with the serve. That serve long break for the Cardinal. Big differential though, Holly, on the kills. 24-15, Penn State with the advantage.
Penn State started out so hot in the first set, much more aggressive. We saw their athleticism, and they passed the ball well. They were able to run their offense. Stanford has struggled in that area.
Jordan Burgess, another service error, and she's typically one of the better servers for the Cardinal.
She just looks out of rhythm and not able to find her serve. When you make that many errors, jump serving, you change it up, go to another serve.
She's been very consistent for the Cardinals so far, as Penn State will bring Lainey Pierce in to serve. Freshman out of Eden, New York. And they'll switch it up. They're not going to do that, after all. They're going to stick with Allie Franti. And a smart decision there by Kyle Gilbert to let that one go long. And Russ Rose frustrated, he's up. He wanted to make that substitution, doesn't get it, and instead service error.
Russ Rose not happy about that. He's usually pretty mellow on the sideline, but he's fired up right now.
Has had 22+ wins every single season as a head coach, and the floating serve there by Megan McGee goes wide, so the Nittany Lions will get it right back.
I love to see Salima Davidson next to Coach Russ Rose. They're very close, great friendship. Salima started as a camper, became a Penn State player, and then obviously coached with him before leaving for Texas, and now she's back on the bench, and Russ Rose could not be happier.
And the Cardinals pretty happy with what they just saw. Bo Cather down the line at Salima Rockwell, a 3-time All-American at Penn State. There's Stevie Mussey as well. You mentioned her first season.
Stevie Mussey from University of Washington, part of the 2005 NCAA championship at Washington. Salima part of 3 championships on the bench as a coach.
And the coaching staff questioning for Penn State why that shot by Megan Courtney didn't count. And I believe they called a net violation, still hands in the air, but it's going to go to the Cardinal. Hancock sends it out to Simone Lee. Gilbert with the bump set to Brittany Howard. And Bug thought she saw an opening in the back corner. Instead, they were there, but Lee into the block of Ajanaku.
Inky Ajanaku, that is what she's known for. Watch her hands press over the net. She gets out and big press over the net. That's what makes a great blocker. Fantastic.
The Cardinal extending their lead here in set number 2. And Russ Rose wants to talk things over. Penn State.
Next, women's volleyball action continues as UCLA goes head-to-head with 9th-ranked Illinois. Live coverage starts next on Pac-12 Networks.
I'm Dennis Zaremski. I'm on the Stanford men's gymnastics team.
Thank you for calling the phone company.
Yes, hi, my internet's down.
I'm sorry to hear that. Try www.phonecompanyproblems.com.
I can't because my internet's down.
Okay, then go ahead and email our customer service.
No, I don't have the internet.
Download our helpful PDF.
Sir, my internet does not work.
Wait, you have no internet?
No.
You need to call someone.
Want better service? Cox Business has 24/7 local support, so you can switch with confidence. Bundle and save today.
Cox has doubled the speed of our internet, so we will stream with abandon.
We will shop online for colorful duct tape while streaming True Blood on HBO Go and watching random tutorials.
Watch the kale, please.
We will stream the game. No, we will stream the games.
We will watch a bunch of videos about peregrine falcons because they are the fastest animals alive.
We are
Cox customers.
And we are now
twice as fast.
We are doubling internet speeds. Learn more today at cox.com/internet.
Number 1 Penn State here in set number 2. And these two teams, the winningest teams out there in the college game, and Penn State and Stanford, the only 2 teams, Holly, that have gone to the NCAA tournament every single year. The consistency is really phenomenal.
Well, we talked about it there. The 2 premier programs in the country, no doubt.
John Dunning's team last season losing to Penn State in the regional finals. It was a 5-setter. Trying to redeem themselves this year with this team. Lee off the block. Ajanaku somehow gets to that one. A short quick in the middle. And finally, the Cardinal working all the way around. And Brittany Howard, Holly, who has really not made full contact, finally does.
Well, it starts with the defense by Stanford. They're able to get a nice transition set, and Brittany Howard takes advantage.
And Russ Rose once again wants to call a timeout. 4-point lead here in set number 2 by the Cardinal. If you're Russ Rose, curious to see what he's telling his team right now.
Stanford's really turned it around. It's not so much that Penn State's not playing as well. I mean, I just think Stanford's gotten rid of the errors. They're passing better. They're slowing the Penn State offense down. And those are keys to staying in this match.
Let's take a look at some of the news and notes in the Pac-12. 3 teams in the top 6 teams in the top 25. Number 2 Stanford, number 5 Washington, number 6 USC. And how about 32-3, the combined record to start week number 1. A great start for Pac-12 volleyball. And how about the record 96 matches that the fans can watch right here on Pac-12 networks. Pretty exciting for the women's game. And oh, you played at all levels. Pretty exciting. Can you imagine having 96 of your matches throughout your career being on TV?
I love Pac-12 volleyball, and to be able to see that many matches, it's fantastic.
It definitely is. The fans getting into it. They are appreciative of the success. Michael Seeley and his coaching staff for UCLA, they await match number 2. They will take on number 9 Illinois right after this one. But a good one here so far as Penn State took set number 1, and the Cardinal trying to regroup, have the 4-point lead here in set number 2. Stanford, a sweep at Iowa State and a sweep at number 7 Nebraska. That's how they started the season. So high expectations for them coming in to this one. Megan Courtney had to take a little bit off of that one. They sent it out to Brittany Howard, but Courtney was right there with the block.
Megan Courtney, big block on Brittany Howard. Very aggressive, hands over the net. Fantastic form by number 17.
The junior out of Dayton, Ohio. Back out to Howard this time. Straight down the block. Not quite there.
Big seam in the block for Penn State. We didn't see that early in the match, but look at the hole between the 2 players. Makes it a lot easier for Stanford when they stay in system and pass the ball.
Brittany Howard, the junior out of Los Altos, California, just down the road. The tip by Maddie Bug. And she'll go back low to Burgess, who just got there. Simone Lee to the back. Back set to Burgess again, a little low. Ajanaku off the slide and a pretty up by Courtney. Best rally of the match and flying in out of the back row. Just long and a break for the Cardinal.
Fantastic D on both sides. This time Penn State running the Bick out of the middle. Back row attack, misses it long.
Megan Courtney just missing. Hancock, the back set and the quick swing by Nia Grant to take it back.
So fast. That Penn State set to the right side is so fast the blocker can't get there. Big kill for Grant.
Nia Grant, the senior out of Warren, Ohio. Burgess off the block. Hancock takes the second one over. And there's contact, the touch, and the point will go to Penn State.
Hancock so effective. She's a left-handed setter and can get up and hit the ball, and has shown that. She has how many kills already? 4 kills, hitting .667. Those are great numbers.
Pretty special player. Fuller serve again. Burgess rolls this one over with the left hand. And there they go again to Ali Franti outside. Down the line, point Nittany Lions.
I'd like to see Stanford get Inky Ajanaku in different locations. Get her the ball more in transition. Give the team different looks. Not always that slide off 1 foot behind, but mix it up, create some space, because with her high contact point, she could be deadly at the net offensively.
John Dunning brought Sarah Benjamin, the freshman DS, into the back row. Burgess got all of that. The miss hit and Ajanaku. How about that positioning?
Perfect. Jordan Burgess set Inky Ajanaku on up for that. She was in the right spot at the right time. No block in front of her. Tough to stop.
Kyle Gilbert, the libero, back to serve. One of the captains. Ajanaku, big smile on her face. Hancock way out to Franti. And the block able to get a touch. We're going to call a double hit on Stanford.
Megan McGee has beautiful hands. That time just a little aggressive. And you see rotation on that ball. Did not come out clean. Point Penn State.
Tough break for the Cardinal. Grant now to serve. And a tough one it was. Bud tried to tip it over. Franti read it all the way. And John Dunning has seen enough.
The serve receive has to be better for Stanford to run their offense and to stay in this match.
John Dunning talking things over with his staff. And for Penn State, they have pulled within 1 point here in set number 2. John Dunning told us, he said, this Penn State team, they have been great a long time. They have quite a tradition. He said it doesn't matter how many players, the tradition for Russ Rose's team, they're kind of in a league of their own at times. This is just some of the success that they have seen. 5 of the last 7 NCAA championships, they have gone to Penn State. And Russ Rose, now in his 36th season, but in 35 years, 5-time Coach of the Year.
37 consecutive 20-plus wins. Coaches dream of that, of just one 20-plus win season, 37 consecutive, and then a record 109 consecutive matches from September 2007 to September 2010. Russ Rose is in a league of his own in my mind.
He is. You know, also, Holly, he has an ice cream named after him, by the way. I think that is pretty special, quite honestly. It's the Russ Diggs Roseberry flavor, and we'll have to get a sample sometime if we're ever out his way. I'm sure he has a big stock of it in his freezer at home, but he does a little bit of everything and always seems so calm and cool and laid back about it.
He's a fun guy. I think you have to get his humor, but he talks about, oh, I don't have much energy. Salim has got the great energy, but we balance each other out. And Salim is just having fun coaching under him again.
This team finding a way here in set 2 to pull within 1 after taking set number 1 and after seeing the Cardinal come out and get on a roll.
The offensive numbers for both teams way down. Both teams hitting under 200.
Back set to McGee. And Penn State keeps it alive. Bug saw the opening though. Smart decision and court awareness by her.
Heads up play, nice volleyball IQ. Maddie Bug finds the opening on this free ball play.
She will go back to serve. Ayana Whitney has come in and they go right to her and they will take it right back.
I love the versatility. You don't see a lot of players, middle quick hitters, that hit the high ball as well, and Ayana Whitney, number 14 in blue, is one of them. Very talented.
Micah Hancock and just misses the back line, and sighs of relief, I'm sure, by the Cardinal to break her serve.
Will Jordan Burgess for Stanford change up her serve? She struggled with it.
Yeah, 3 silver serves. You are right, and they're actually going to sub her out and bring in Grace Kennedy, the sophomore out of Newport Beach.
6'3", and she's a defensive specialist, fearless defender, aggressive server.
The floater to the back corner, short, quick in the middle. The block was there. Roll shot by Megan Courtney. They'll say the pancake was there, and it works. Maddie Bug, big momentum play.
Stanford has picked up their defensive intensity. Look at Maddie Bug, perfect pancake, and then Stanford able to transition it. Brittany Howard for the kill.
Another timeout being called by Penn State. Russ Rose going to continue to try to get his team to regroup, and I think it's important. He does have a young team. Even though we are watching this team dominate at times, he still has to kind of regroup. He said they have flashes and rallies at times, but they are very young.
He knew that. He didn't expect them to be consistently amazing this entire match. That's what comes with youth and inexperience. As a team, Stanford right now hitting 235 in this set, 139 for Penn State.
These two teams have met up several times over the years. And their most recent was last season. Penn State winning in the NCAA tournament in the regional finals, and Penn State leads the all-time series 8-7. And that was a close one, and what a great series. After Penn State faced Stanford, they went on to face Washington, able to get past them, and then met up with Wisconsin in the national championship. John Dunning talking to his team, trying to get them to just do what they do, I'm sure, as well, and just relax and continue to stay in system. So important.
After the first set, they looked much more like the Stanford team that we expected. I think nerves were a factor in the first set.
I think you are right, because when we talked to John Dunning, he was just so impressed with this experienced team being such a good ball control team. And they have gotten much better, he said, coming into this year. So a little bit of a surprise. But again, this is a big match for both of these programs. I think especially for the Stanford Cardinal, as you see John Dunning up and talking to his redshirt freshman Moretta Lutz, making sure she understands what he needs from her when she comes in. And she'll come in right now, replace Megan McGee. The timeout, tough break for Grace Kennedy. Her serve goes long.
Stanford trying to put the pressure on Penn State, just making too many service errors.
Lainey Pierce will come back in for Penn State. The freshman DS out of Eden, New York. Sister Kendall is a junior on this team. And a tough serve. Howard couldn't handle it. Out of bounds, and a point to Penn State.
That's the first time in this second set that we've seen a shank. Stanford looked like that the first set, has cleaned it up. It's getting tight here in the end of the second set.
John Dunning calls a timeout now, as his team just holding on to that 1-point lead here in set number 2. It's like a chess match with these legendary coaches, trying to just make little adjustments, one little thing, and every single play, every single serve, so important.
Well, you need to manipulate momentum, manipulate the personnel that you have on your team, and try and get whatever you can to produce on your side of the net.
This is match 1 of a doubleheader that we have tonight for this Pac-12 Big Ten Challenge, brought to you by ASICS. There's UCLA's coaching staff, Michael Seeley and company, and at the other end, Kevin Hambley and his assistants from Illinois, the number 9 team in the nation. They will face off, and then we will also have a match on Sunday for you here on Pac-12 Networks, and you'll be calling that one as well. And that should be a good one also, with Illinois and Stanford.
I'm expecting some great things from Illinois. Kevin Hambley has done such an amazing job with that program. They've got a lot of experience, a lot of depth on their team. They're going to be a team to beat here.
Well, they definitely are. A lot of experience. He's very happy with where they are. On the other side for UCLA, kind of a regroup season. Some transfer student athletes that have come in, trying to get to know one another. A couple of little injuries, but they're going to get players back, and it's always tough early on when you have those few dings here and there. Bug to Bocather, gets it past the block. Howard tries to tip it over. Simone Lee, I thought she was too far off the net, but somehow got it between the block.
Stanford block was a little bit early on their way down, not able to be as effective as they could.
Megan McGee will check back in for the Cardinal. We are tied up here in set number 2. So the momentum had shifted and this crowd had gotten into it. But good serving and a little bit more system going Penn State's way here late in this set. Pierce with the serve. Outside to Howard. Bo Cather, before the block could get there, the Cardinal get it back.
Morgan Bocather, the senior co-captain for Stanford, getting it done, putting up fantastic numbers with a big kill.
She is very happy to have a different role this season. Very much a team player and was a starter for the majority of her freshman and sophomore seasons. Last year didn't play quite as much. And this year filling some big voids. You know, graduating Carly Wopat and Rachel Williams, those were key starters for the Cardinal. Back set to Megan Courtney is blocked right back down. And this crowd's gonna get on their feet. We are at set point. Served by Brown. Back set to Megan Courtney. Will quiet everybody for a moment.
That's what great setters do. Micah Hancock gives the ball to her best player, Megan Courtney, who puts the ball down to keep this set alive.
Dominique Gonzalez, the senior libero, back to serve. Set point again. Pass a little off the mark. Bug to Ajanaku with the finish.
And there on the other side of the net, a great setting decision as well. Bug to Ajanaku to end that second set.
Inky Ajanaku, that's where they like her most, in the middle. And they haven't gotten it to her a lot, but very effective when they have. That's for certain. And the head coach, John Dunning, is joining us now. And Coach Dunning, what a comeback. I guess we knew it would probably be a close one here, but what are some of the things that stood out to you here in sets 1 and 2?
Yeah. You know, Penn State's really good. They make you do things that you're not supposed to do. And we were bad. They made us look bad. We made errors we haven't been making. We've got to grow up a little bit here to handle this team in a situation like this. But on the other hand, being like that and coming back and winning that game is really a good thing for our team. We kind of stole that one from them. And when you do that, you got to capitalize on it. So we got to control the ball better. We got to think a little better.
What were the key things that you told your team after that first set where you guys really struggled?
Well, you know, you kind of waver between, you got to relax. This is a big setting, or you've got to get after it and go. And this team has to learn to do both. We're good enough to be relaxed in a big-time situation and just compete like crazy. And we just didn't do it at the start, but in game 2, even though we weren't very good, we just kind of hung in there and did it, and that's how you grow. That's how you find out if you can win big matches, because that's what you got to do.
All right, thanks for your time. Good luck.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach Dunning, giving us a good one here. One set apiece. Number 1, Penn State, and number 2, Stanford. We're going to send it to Ashley Adamson in the studio. We'll have more for you right after this.
This Pac-12 volleyball production is brought to you in high definition by Cox and Xfinity.
40 years ago, you didn't know how you'd retire. You didn't know how you'd put 3 girls through college, or how the future would unfold. But in this moment...
Congratulations, Bill.
Appreciate it, Mike. Couldn't have done it without you.
You're thankful your independent agent knew how to protect it. Ask about life insurance and annuities from Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people.
Crest Insurance is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
The Texas Barbecue Thick Burger with smoked brisket and jalapeno straws. New at Carl's Jr.
I'm Akash Modi. I'm on the Stanford men's gymnastics team.
Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Could your house go into foreclosure? Does it seem like the bank has no interest in helping you save your home and you feel like you have nowhere to turn? Then we have good news for you. American Foreclosure Service. American Foreclosure Service can help save your home. We specialize in foreclosure assistance, and that's all we do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call American Foreclosure Service now. American Foreclosure Service has a network of attorneys, and our agents are available to speak to you now. Remember, if you're behind on your mortgage payments, American Foreclosure Service can help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late. New laws are in effect that may save your home, so call American Foreclosure Service now.
Call 1-800-399-6441 now.
A huge upset over Northwestern. Cal faces off against Sacramento State. Utah battles Fresno State. Or the Huskies meet Eastern Washington in Chris Peterson's Seattle debut. Then at 7, it's a primetime battle as UCLA takes on Memphis in the Bruins home opener. The action starts live Saturday at 11 with a pregame show on Pac-12 Networks.
Here with your Pac-12 volleyball intermission report. Right now we've got a good one on our hands. Number 2 Stanford and number 1 Penn State all even at 1 set apiece. We'll get you back out to Maples Pavilion for the rest of that huge matchup in a moment. But first, there's another pretty important game taking place on the farm this weekend. Tomorrow, it's the Pac-12 football opener between Stanford and USC. All the talk this week has been about Sark's lightning tempo offense, but David Shaw quick to point out that Trojan D presents a massive challenge as well.
It's a huge challenge. They're big, you know. Their nose is 320. He's a big, physical, athletic kid. 94 is special. You know, he's a special football player. The combination of what they have, I think it's a really, really good defense with a really, really good scheme. We got to make sure that we can, at the very least, get a stalemate, if not create some holes for our runners, and protect the passer against a good front.
Should be a good one. I'll have more on that rivalry matchup tomorrow morning in our football pregame show. That kicks at 11 a.m. Pacific. 4 Pac-12 teams in action on our networks. For a complete look at the schedule, head to pac-12.com. Tonight, though, all eyes on Maple. Stanford trying to knock off the defending national champs. Krista and Holly will be back on the call shortly. But first, stay tuned for a Sports Report update.
Last year, we brought home 10 new national titles. This year, we're going to claim a few trophies more. We call it the Power of 12. On the field and in the gym, on the track and in the water. Extending our legacy as the country's most elite athletic conference. This is your Pac-12. The Conference of Champions.
This football season, Pac-12 Networks has more exciting matchups. More exclusive coverage. More inside access.
We're going to win with every little detail.
More ways to watch. More passion. More drama. More of your team. Your team. Your network. All season long on Pac-12 Networks.
Hi, this is Jed Lowry, shortstop for the Oakland A's.
NASCAR on ESPN, all season long. The Nationwide Series, where future stars are made. The Sprint Cup Series, where 43 drivers battle for 16 playoff spots. The chase for the Sprint Cup, where 10 races determine a champion and a place in history. ESPN, your home for NASCAR, all season long.
NASCAR on ESPN is brought to you by Arby's. Mix and match 2 sandwiches for only $5.
There's a good old boy in your neighborhood, and his name is Good Old Tom. If you need cash and you need it fast, there's no one better around. Bring him gold jewelry, bring him old coins, bring him your collectibles too. Good Old Tom wants to buy all these things, and he'll pay good money to you. So if you got things that you need to sell, then to Good Old Tom's you should go. 'Cause when you need cash and you need it fast, Tom's the best good old boy to know.
Bring in your old items to Good Old Tom today.
Arizona State battles 6th-ranked Texas A&M. Or the 4th-ranked Washington men's team takes on St. Mary's. Live coverage starts Sunday at 1 on Pac-12 Networks.
I'm David Shaw, head football coach at Stanford University. You're watching Pac-12 Networks.
Ashley Adamson back here with your Pac-12 Sports Report update. Coming up Monday night, we've got a behind-the-scenes story on one of the most unique mascots in all of sports. She's big, she's fast, and she needs 5 humans to try and keep her on task. Her name? Ralphie the Buffalo. Her game? Take a look.
This being my rookie season, I ran a lot in the back, and then I'm actually really looking forward to kind of getting to move up the ranks and move into the front position.
We spend all of our time really working towards this, and it all culminates in completing those runs and getting your first game run in.
As we do the normal horseshoe down here at Folsom, you'll have the front outside guy's got to lean into her with his front shoulder. That front inside guy is going to be pulling back to give her room to turn. And the guy in the back is bringing up the brakes on the 2 straightaways, and that's why we're such a prestige program, because everybody's here for a reason, and you got to work for it and earn it, and we appreciate it and don't take it for granted one bit.
And neither do the fans. For the full story on Ralphie, tune in Monday night. Pac-12 Sports Report begins at 7 Pacific. JB Long and I will get you caught up on everything you may have missed over the weekend. That's Sports Report, Mondays, 7 o'clock, right here on the Pac-12 Network.
Stanford, California, and we've got a good one. Number 1 Penn State and number 2 Stanford in college volleyball matchup, and they are split 1 set apiece here, getting ready for set number 3. Krista Blanc along with Holly McPeak, and Holly, a couple players in particular really stood out on both sides, but Franti, the freshman for Penn State, is really something.
Ali Franti was a big factor in the first set, kind of disappeared in the second set. That might have been the difference. On the other side of the net, Morgan Bocather, the senior for Stanford, really stepped it up and led her team to win that second set.
Well, this will give you an idea of what both of these players can do. And Ali Franti, the freshman, she doesn't play like a freshman or first-year player. And Morgan Bocather happy to be back in that starting lineup.
Morgan Bocather healthy finally at last, but we'll start with the freshman. For Penn State, Ali Franti, high and hard, finding a way to beat that big Stanford block. She gets up and elevates and's got power on her side. Big kill, she dominated the first set for Penn State.
Second set, Stanford able to regroup and come back, and a big reason was Bocather.
Bocather on the right, Morgan so quick and effective, some defense, some offense. She is doing it all. Big kill to end this long rally for Stanford.
The numbers for both teams were definitely going up and down. It was all Penn State in set number 1, and it turned around for Stanford in set number 2. As you can see the numbers here, kills started to get a little closer because it was all Penn State early on.
Well, numbers evened out, but the truth was Stanford was better able to stay in system. Numbers very similar. Penn State has more hitting errors, but for the most part, very even.
And the serving for both sides, very effective. The service errors started to accumulate for Penn State. 7 service errors for them, but they did have 3 aces. And the Cardinal are going to go right back to Bocather, and why not?
When Stanford passes the ball, they can run that quick ball to Bocather on the right. That's when they're in system. They've got their options.
Morgan Bocather, the senior, blocked there and tipped by Ajanaku. Ayana Whitney connects.
Ayana Whitney, high contact point. Russ Rose really likes her talent. She plays in the middle, but able to hit the high ball as well.
had 3 kills in sets 1 and 2, but 3 errors also. Canceling herself out, and that's going to send Micah Hancock back to serve. And a tough one to handle on the free ball over to the Cardinal. Set way outside to Brittany Howard. Back set to Ajanaku and can't quite get there, and a point to Penn State.
I think Stanford needs to use Inky Ajanaku more often in transition, even if it's in front of the setter. Attack, attack, attack. They go to her in a predictable situation there.
Hancock again, 4 service errors by her, and she is one of their toughest servers in sets 1 and 2. And Russ Rose told us, he said, she can't do that. And they can't do that either. The block by the Cardinal. Waiting on the other side. How about Maddie Bugg? She's been very effective at the net.
Maddie Bugg and Inky Ajanaku, solid block for Stanford. That time, Allie Francie, she's a high flyer for Penn State. Just a little bit early on her approach, hitting it on the way down.
Howard with the serve. Back set to Francie and just wide as she tries to cut that one.
Again, Allie Francie's timing just a little bit off.
But you can't say too many bad things about that young player. She is pretty special. But right now, not quite the same Allie Francie that we saw in sets 1 and 2. Tough serve to handle. Burgess readjusts. Francie with the tip. Back set to Ajanaku, and somehow she got to that one, and Francie, big swing down the line.
There you see the better timing from freshman 5 in blue, Allie Francie. And it pays off, 9 kills, 7 digs. Hitting only 182 because of the 5 errors, but 9 kills. And that's part of being a freshman, you're learning. You're playing one of the best teams in the country.
Quick swing by Burgess, somehow got there. Out of the back, Allie Francie and in. Allie Francie is everywhere.
Wow, what an aggressive swing. Popped up, kept alive by Megan Courtney, well behind the 3-meter line. Allie Francie, high snap, hits a sharp angle.
Bug out to Burgess. What an angle on that one. And tipping it over there was Megan Courtney. Oh, the lift, I believe, on the Cardinal. It's going to go back to Penn State.
That ball did hit ground. I don't think Stanford slid under that. But again, I don't think Stanford sets Inky Ajanaku enough. Set her, set her, set her, establish her, and then go outside.
I agree. Not many teams have had answers for Inky Ajanaku. Russ Rose has had nothing but amazing things to say about her. The block out of bounds.
Simone Lee uses that huge block in front of her, tools the blocker's hands. Maddie Bugg, Inky Ajanaku, very solid, just used.
I'll keep the serve going for Allie Francie. Burgess takes some off. Nice up by Gonzalez. Burgess, the set wasn't quite there, but she read it perfectly. Tips it over with the left hand.
Stanford again needs to refocus on their pass, stay in system. They're getting that predictable ball out to Jordan Burgess, and it's hard to put the ball away against this Penn State defense.
Passing's definitely been off for the Cardinal here tonight. Simone Lee, the hops up above everybody.
Penn State passes the ball well, stays in system, gets that ball out to Simone Lee, who's very impressive from the left side.
Number 8 recruit in the nation, Simone Lee, the freshman out of Menominee, Wisconsin. Back set to McGee. Lee again right at McGee, and she wasn't quite set. Simone Lee, she's got a heavy arm.
Simone Lee, heavy arm, and if the block's not over the net, it's going to go down on the opponent's side. Megan McGee in the right place, just needs to seal the net with her hands.
Big swing by Simone Lee. Burgess had to take some off the miss hit, but Moretta Lutz was waiting on it on the other side.
That's when it helps to be standing there at 6'8", the easy throwdown on the cover.
She makes her presence known, no doubt about it. The 6'8" redshirt freshman out of Houston, redshirted last season. Megan Courtney caught up to that one, and it worked.
Penn State, that fastball to the right side attack, so effective, and you see why. Tough for the blocker to get out there.
Courtney will come out. Kendall Pierce will come in, the junior DS, to serve. Back set to Burgess. Simone Lee, solo block. Holly, a big block like that will pick you up.
This is one of her strengths. So good. She can shut down the left by herself. Coach Russ Rose told her that is one of her strengths, and you see why.
And John Dunning wants a timeout. He needs to regroup. Russ Rose and Penn State up by 5 here in set number 3.
Yeah. I'm getting some $185 million cash explosion tickets for everyone. Want one?
Cash explosion? Well, those don't exist. They're make-believe.
No, they're real Arizona Lottery scratchers. $20 gets you a chance at $2.5 million.
That's urban legend, my friend. Thanks, Vlad. No one believes in urban legends.
Hey, Vlad.
Now get me a cup of coffee.
Believe it, you can win millions with Cash Explosion, but you can't win if you don't play. Is he still there?
I don't care about perspective. I care about the next game we play. I've said from the beginning, I don't care what the talking heads say or where we're ranked. This stuff doesn't matter.
When you talk about the best teams, you have to mention Stanford University.
Back at Maples Pavilion here at Stanford, #1 Penn State up here in set number 3, 10-5 over #2 Stanford. And just minutes ago, we had a chance to talk to Russ Rose coming out of the locker room. This is what he had to say about his team. Well, Russ, your team came out and dominated set number 1. Stanford regrouped a little bit, but you had a big rally at the end. I know you called a few timeouts. What were some of the things you were talking to your team about?
Well, I mean, a couple of the plays that happen are just veteran plays against some young kids. So we have to kind of talk about keeping an eye on the ball. Don't give them any free balls near the net. 2 plays where they threw the ball over on one at us, and we couldn't retrieve the ball. So, you know, and you have to keep the ball away from Inky. She's such a big presence at the net as a blocker, and you know that last swing that she took is, you know, you have to kind of get yourself in a situation where it doesn't come down to that one swing.
After the second set, you guys were able to creep back in there, almost stealing that for Stanford. How does your team go into this third set?
Well, we'll see how we do. I mean, you know, Micah missed 4 serves in that game. You're not going to win many games when your ace server you know, can't find the court. So hopefully she'll be a little better this game.
Russ, thanks very much.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. And right there, out of the timeout, John Dunning was trying to stop the bleeding, and instead, Penn State gets the point.
Penn State definitely serving better. Micah was more effective with her serve, and that's really a key for Penn State, a powerful rotation with her on the back line.
Served by Kendall Pierce, goes long. And that'll let Jordan Burgess step back and try to get something going. Junior All-American. Played every single set last season and has typically been one of the most consistent players for the Cardinal. But has been a little up and down here tonight. Second ball taken over by Hancock. Bocather able to get it over. Slide by Grant off the block. Bocather again. Bocather tips it up and over the block. What a read by Morgan Bocather.
That comes with experience. Huge Penn State block in front of her. Morgan Bocather, fantastic touch on the ball to get it to drop right behind the block.
Senior out of Newport Beach. Was very competitive, John Dunning said. He's now a starter this season. Burgess. Simone Lee got up high, but so did the block of the Cardinal.
Morgan Bocather and Moretta Lutz, huge for Stanford. This is one of Moretta Lutz's strengths at 6'8", but Morgan Bocather set that block at a perfect location.
Cardinal continue to chip into this lead. Hancock tries to take that one over. They'll say it went over. The crowd didn't think so, and Lutz, though, right there in the middle.
3 big plays by Moretta Lutz. She's making her presence felt for Stanford, number 17 in white. She doesn't have to have a big jump, but she's in a great location.
John Dunning said she's really learning how to read the plays, move her feet well, and be an even bigger presence at the net. Burgess just missing the back line. That'll give it back to Penn State. Lacey Fuller, the senior DS, checks back in out of San Diego, California. Russ Rose said he just has big respect for this player. She's just one of those hard-working players. She's first one in the gym, last one out. Bocather got the angle, got the point.
Stanford turning the tables. Their right side attack has been very effective, especially with Morgan Bocather. She is finding that angle. That is not an easy angle to hit.
Bocather, a little bit of a reserve role last season. Had a bit of a knee flare up here and there also, though, even though there were others that got the starting nod. Annie Franti, high flying.
Credit Micah Hancock. That pass was in a tough location, but she's so strong, so athletic. She puts up a beautiful hittable ball for her outside hitter.
Nia Grant back to serve for Penn State. The Cardinal have a response.
I like it in system. Stanford, when they pass the ball well, they can run it in system. Again, I'd like to see more sets go to Inky, but she's a good decoy because Penn State respects her.
Denise Corlett, associate head coach, talking things over with John Dunning. Brittany Howard hard up the block. Somehow Bocather got a hand on it. Franti, and they'll say in the net against Stanford, and it's going to go to Penn State.
What an arm on Allie Franti. That ball's way off the net. She's able to put that ball sharp angle inside the block.
Illinois Gatorade Player of the Year. She was a high school All-American as well out of Spring Grove, Illinois. Hancock with that wicked serve. Ajanaku with the wicked middle kill.
That's what I want to see more of from Stanford.
I think Ike Ajanaku does as well. Why not?
There you see Allie Franti. When she was in 7th grade, she sent Russ Rose a letter saying she wanted to be a Penn State volleyball player. And look at her now. I love that. She knew early on what she wanted to do, and she's achieving it. And she's going to do fantastic things for this Penn State volleyball program, and vice versa.
Coming off of a state championship at her high school, Richmond Burton High in Spring Grove, Illinois. I love that, though. It's great to see you set your mind to something and you can achieve it, and she's definitely doing it. Miss Rose says she's explosive, and she definitely is. Burgess got the angle.
It's fun to see Stanford play when they can play like that. Stay in system, run the offense. It really opens things up for players like Jordan Burgess. She's not huge on the outside. She needs an in-system set to be very successful.
Kyle Gilbert back to serve, one of the captains for the Cardinal. She and Bocather. Tough up for Hancock to handle. Penn State wanted the touch. They'll say no, it was out, and it'll go to Stanford.
Wow, I saw a big touch on that. Watching this replay, the blocker's hands, Megan Courtney, can't tell from that angle, but I saw a touch.
Whitney Lyons said they did as well. To the middle there was Whitney. Lee has to take some off. Out of the back, Brittany Howard finds the opening.
Beautiful swing out of the back row, but she stepped on the 3-meter line. If you're a back row attacker, you cannot step on this line. Watch Brittany Howard's feet. You see that line? Her toe just barely stepped on that line.
Tough break for the Cardinal, and our officials on top of it. Tricky play by Maddie Bug to take that second ball over.
It all starts with a good pass. It opens up so many options. We haven't seen Loretta Letts, number 17 in white, get many sets, but she's making her presence felt defensively.
Bug, the junior setter out of Apex, North Carolina, an All-American and the Pac-12 Setter of the Year last season. Back set there to Megan Courtney. She says, my bad, sent that one wide. And a break for the Cardinal. We are tied up here in set number 3. Gets that crowd into it a little bit.
We've seen very few errors for Megan Courtney. Just misses that ball off of her hand.
And too much behind that one. Maddie Bug sends that one long. It'll go right back to Penn State.
This is more what I've expected in the first set. I think there were nerves on Stanford's side, and then Stanford was able to play much better in the second set. Now this is an evenly matched third set.
Kendall Pierce back in to serve for Penn State. Tough up for Maddie Bug again. Burgess didn't get anything on it. Simone Lee, big swing into the arms of Lutz. Pass off the mark, and taking advantage is Nia Grant.
Nia Grant went up high with her left hand, knew exactly where to put that ball. Smart transition play. She is up way above everybody.
Pierce to serve again. Bug, short quick to Lutz. Lee into the double block, and it's down for a point to the Cardinal.
Loretta Letts, we finally got to see her hit the ball, but this time just huge. Her hands are over the net. That's important. You can be 6'8", not push your hands over the net, and you're not an effective blocker, but she's doing a nice job pushing her hands on the opponent's side of the net.
Lutz out of Houston, Texas. Her parents are Stanford grads, though has a brother, Karsten, who rows for the Stanford rowing team. Tough serve there. And a tough one to handle. Point to the Cardinal.
Stanford made some defensive adjustments, and it's putting more pressure on the Penn State team. It looks like what they want to do, slow down this Penn State offense.
They brought in Sydney Brown, the freshman out of Tampa, Florida, with the serve, and it was a tough one. And there's another one. Gonzalez with the up. Bug to Bowcather, too much. She wanted the touch immediately, but no go, and it's gonna go to the Nittany Lions.
Bowcather has taken some big swings for Stanford, that time trying to go high hands. Unable to find the Penn State blocker.
Lacey Fuller back in for Penn State. Howard off the block and in for the point. Back and forth we go between the top two teams.
Brittany Howard is effective at hitting this inside ball, but it starts with a good pass, and that opens up that deep line shot that Brittany Howard wants to hit.
Megan McGee comes back in. Loretta Lutz will rotate out. And Les Rose wants to talk things over at this juncture here in set number 3. Last season, this Penn State team, national champs. They faced Stanford in the regional finals, then met up with Washington and Wisconsin in the championship match. But what a team Russ Rose had.
Well, Russ Rose, when he saw the NCAA bracket last year, he circled the match, Stanford, Penn State, that would happen. He said whoever wins that match has a great shot at winning the title, and he was right. It wasn't easy. But there you see the most outstanding player, Micah Hancock, the setter for Penn State. 2013 NCAA champions.
6-time champs. 5 of the last 7. As we take a look at some of the past champions, there's Stanford in 2004. Washington got the 2005 title. Nebraska, who's now in the Big Ten, they took it in 06. And how about Penn State with the 4-peat? Had never been done.
Unbelievable. I kept expecting them not to be able to come back and win again and be so dominant, but they kept doing it, kept doing it. There's some players that won 4 titles during their career at Penn State. Can you imagine? Wow.
I cannot imagine, but for Russ Rose, it's just every day. It's another day in the office, right?
Well, he won in 2013, won the title, reloaded with the #1 recruiting class, and these young players that we're seeing playing at such a high level, by the end of this season, they're going to be that much better, that much more experienced, ready to take on the NCAA tournament again.
He's hopeful they will get Haley Washington back. She was the #1 recruit in the nation, Holly. Imagine her with this group.
And she hasn't even got on the court yet.
Well, out of that timeout, an effective one for the Cardinal, the ace for Megan McGee.
Tough serve. Stanford able to return the favor, gets an ace of their own.
Deep serve by McGee. Fuller handles it. Big shot there, though, from Ali Franti to take it back. Hard to believe that last ace was the first one of this match for the Cardinal.
Well, Penn State had some early aces, but that's the first one that I remember. One of the things that Ali Franti brings to Penn State is she doesn't have to be in system to put the ball away. She is a point scorer even when Penn State is out of system, and that is a huge plus for your team.
Definitely is. Bowcather got every bit of that one.
Fastball to the right side. Morgan Bowcather, whip of an arm, block is late. Wow, that is impressive.
With some emotion, Maddie Bugg happy about that one as well, and Bowcather will step back to serve. Franti, big swing, big finish.
Turning that ball sharp inside the block of Inkia Janaku. Going sharp, Ali Franti, the freshman. She is elevating and going for it.
Micah Hancock back to serve. And a tough one it was. Bowcather out of the back. Franti right at the block, but the angle out of bounds, and it'll be a point for Penn State.
Micah Hancock took Stanford out of that system with that fantastic jump serve, and Penn State able to transition attack for a big point.
So a 1-point lead here in set number 3 for Penn State. John Dunning decides to call a timeout. Micah Hancock back serving as well. You got to do something to try to ice her. She's tough.
Smart timeout by John Dunning. Micah Hancock's experience. John Dunning's not the first coach to try and ice her and her powerful serve.
Both of these coaches, what they have been able to do, big time wins over the years, and Russ Rose is #2 all time, just behind Dave Shoji at Hawaii. 1,130 for Dave, 1,128 for Russ, and they're still going.
And they just passed my former coach, Andy Vanikowski from UCLA, who is now retired, but 2 very successful coaches. Russ Rose has that many wins in a very tough conference. Hawaii doesn't have the same type of a conference that Russ Rose does, but on the other hand, I think having a tough conference prepares you for the end of the season tournament.
Absolutely. Russ, a 14-time Big Ten Coach of the Year, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame back in 2007. Just really incredible, though, what he consistently does every single season.
Well, after 36 seasons, you think you might lose touch or something, but I know young kids who go to his camp and love him, want to play for him, think he's fantastic, and he has coaches like Salima Davis and Davidson, and Stevie Mussey, young players who are enthusiastic, who know what it takes to win on his bench. He knows the recipe for success.
Yeah.
He wouldn't share it with us.
That's right.
But he knows.
He said there's no recipe, Holly. There's no recipe. We know differently. But he also said, you recognize that learning curve and you recognize the joys of youth. And he is recognizing the joys of the youth on his team. And out of that timeout, the Cardinal into the block and out of bounds, and they tie it up here.
Big side out, big swing by Brittany Howard, 16 in white.
Brittany Howard. Pass off the mark. Ajanaku salivating, just waiting on it.
Russ Rose is not going to be happy about that play. Inky Ajanaku with the easy overpass, nobody in front of her.
And you're right, Russ Rose has something to say about that one, as that pass was way off the mark and right into the hands of Inky Ajanaku. So he will talk it over now. And this is kind of what we expected. I think early, Holly, definitely some jitters, definitely question marks trying to figure each other out, but it got a little closer at the end of set 2, and we're seeing it here in set 3.
This is a big time match, and this is what I expected to see. I am loving the back and forth at crunch time in this third set.
Both of these teams, we talked about their success. They're the only 2 programs that have gone to the NCAA tournament every single season, all 33 years, and they have had the most success, the most tournament wins. Stanford has the most, 104 tournament wins. Nebraska behind them. Penn State with 84. How about UCLA? You know a little something about that, Holly. And then Hawaii. We were just talking about Dave Shoji, and he's had great success also in the tournament.
Absolutely. Nebraska at home last week, lost in 3 to this Stanford team. Stanford went into a very hostile environment in Nebraska and took care of business, and that shows a lot of poise and experience on their side, because Nebraska is infamous for being a tough place to play, and John Cook always has a very strong program.
I know you've been there. I have definitely been there, and when that place gets going, it is impossible to hear each other even speaking, sitting side by side. The Cardinal go, and they get the sweep in that one. They held Nebraska to hitting just 131. And John Denning said, we had a great spring, we had a great summer. We thought it was preparing us for what they did out on the road early on, and now they're seeing the reigning champs come into town, and they want to get their crowd into it. They've been into it, and this is the closest one yet. Whitney off the block. Out of the back is Howard. Big swing by Megan Courtney, begging for the touch. And the officials say there was not one. And that will get this crowd on their feet, because we are at set point. Back set to Franti, and Howard was there. Burgess got something on it, sent it to the back corner, and the Cardinal takes set number 3.
Stanford playing some really strong defense and then able to counterattack Penn State. Georgian Burgess took her best swing of the match so far to end that third set.
John Dunning took a late timeout for his Cardinal, and they came back and did some of this. Jordan Burgess finishes it off. Stanford up 2 sets to 1.
Touchdown, California! Breaks a tackle. That was spectacular. Unreal.
This football season, Pac-12 Networks has more exciting matchups. Touchdown! More exclusive coverage. More inside access.
We're going to win with every little detail.
More ways to watch. More passion. More drama. More of your team. Your team, your network, all season long on Pac-12 Networks.
Hello, Stanford fans, and welcome to another edition of Stanford Football on KZSU Stanford. Hi, I'm Sam Fisher, senior here at Stanford, doing the play-by-play for our student radio coverage. Welcome to KZSU, our in-studio home, ready to bring you the action. And my first ever live broadcast was courtside at the Staples Center, the home of the Lakers, for Stanford women's basketball. Ended up winning, and I was hooked. We are headed to the field to get some stuff for some features we're writing at the Daily right now. David Shaw has not come after my advice, though we've got a good back and forth relationship. Oh, well, look who it is, Chineye Gumake, women's basketball star. I try to have a bit of a presence. People see me all around, try to feel comfortable, try to make everyone else comfortable with me, because at the end of the day, the more comfortable people are around me, the more I can give my listeners and give my fellow students. I'm Sam Fisher, class of 2014, and I am the voice of Stanford.
Pressure comes. Hit outside the quality. Chased by Anderson. Hit, cuts back.
The crowd here at Maples Pavilion getting into it as the Stanford Cardinal takes set number 3. And they are up 2-1 over number 1 Penn State. Krista Blunt along with Holly McPeak. And Holly, that's kind of the type of set I think we expected for this entire match. It's been a little up and down, but that one back and forth.
Absolutely, that is what I expected to see this whole match. But looking at statistics, the couple numbers that stick out for me, Penn State has 22 hitting errors. That dramatically affects your game. 22 hitting errors. And they're only hitting 205 as a team. And that's a low number for them offensively.
Service errors have hurt both sides a little bit, but the blocking game's been a little bit better. And for Stanford, a player that they've been trying to get going and finally did there in that set is Inky Ajanaku.
8 for 17, 4 errors, hitting 235. Those are okay numbers, but not for Inky Ajanaku. She can dominate a match. She has 3 blocks. I think she could be way more effective as an offensive weapon.
Every time we talk to Russ Rose for Penn State about Stanford, all he seems to be able to say is Inky Ajanaku and the concern, I think, about her.
But she hasn't been as effective as she normally is, and I think Stanford can do that better.
And we'll see what Penn State will do here in set number 4, and if Stanford could potentially win this one here in set 4 as McGee gets the first serve. And the touch and the point will go to Penn State. Allie Franti again. Big numbers from the freshman. 15 kills. Make it 16 now.
Hitting 367. Those are big numbers from a left side attacker.
Micah Hancock. That lefty serve. Bump set to Brittany Howard. Beautiful save by Lacey Fuller in the back, and the touch is out of bounds. Another point to the Nittany Lions.
Big transition swing for a key Penn State point. Allie Franti getting it done on the left side for Penn State.
Started with some big D in the back. Lacey Fuller able to get that one up and keep it alive. Hancock working that back line. Ajanaku. And a net violation against Penn State gives the Cardinal a break.
Keep setting Inky Ajanaku until they stop her. Up her numbers, be less predictable about when you set her. She's such a weapon.
It's tough to have an answer for her when she gets going. Morgan Bocather with the serve. Howard off the block and straight down, and Kyle Gilbert could not get there. It goes back to Penn State.
Penn State, big block, able to set up on this play. Megan Courtney sets that up on the right side for Penn State.
Allie Franti with the serve. Brittany Howard struggled with that a little bit. Burgess out of the back. Gonzalez with the set to Courtney. He comes right at us.
That's what I'm talking about. Transition every time after a dig. Counter with Inky Ajanaku. It works. And once they establish her every time, everybody else will be free on the pins on the left and the right.
There are definitely other options for the Cardinal, and you're right. Why not? Hancock, short, quick. right to the middle, and Ayanna Whitney.
Right back with the middle attack. Penn State attacks.
Whitney redshirted in 2012, played 21 matches last season for Penn State. Burgess. The back set to Megan Courtney, and it works off the net and down for the point.
Aggressive swing by Megan Courtney, and that makes a difference. Penn State with a point.
Block just could not get there for her. Gonzalez with the serve. Pass off the mark. Stanford keeps it alive. Simone Lee with the big swing. And Brittany Howard got one hand on it. It almost went in, but just wide, and it'll go back to Penn State. John Dunning doesn't want this one to get away. He calls the timeout. His team up 2-1, but down by 4 here in set 4.
Next, women's volleyball action continues as UCLA goes head-to-head with 9th-ranked Illinois. Live coverage starts next on Pac-12 Networks. Sunday, it's a women's soccer showdown on Pac-12 Networks. 4th-ranked Cal battles Cal Poly, or Washington goes head-to-head with Dartmouth. Live coverage starts Sunday at 4 on Pac-12 Networks.
Stanford band is a little different than most. Most people have marching bands. We have a scatter band. It's one of those things that's unique about Stanford University. I think it plays into the energy that our crowd has. The tree being a little different than most mascots. He kind of runs around, getting the fans excited. The tree is zany and has a bunch of energy, and it all ties into that wonderful game day atmosphere at Stanford Stadium.
Pac-12 women's volleyball is brought to you by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
Beautiful campus here at Stanford. And a great match between #1 Penn State and #2 Stanford. The Nittany Lions took set #1, and then the Cardinal rallied back. They took sets 2 and 3, but find themselves down here in set #4. Russ Rose making some adjustments. I think his team just cleaning up a few things. The errors had kind of caught up on both sides.
Well, in the 4th set, Penn State hitting 7-14, 5 of 7. Stanford 2 of 7, hitting 143.
Dominique Gonzalez with the serve. Burgess got the nice set. Gonzalez keeps it alive, and the free ball to the Cardinal. Inky Ajanaku on the slide. Penn State gets a hand on it, sends it over. Ajanaku again tries to get him out of position, and she does. There's your play, Holly, right there.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Use your weapon. User, user, user. Then they get a free ball out of it, and she comes right back at him. Tough to stop her more than once.
Gilbert back to serve. Lutz has checked back into the front row. What a quick swing there by Nia Grant.
Beautiful set by Micah Hancock. I think the one thing that I'm super impressed with Micah Hancock as a setter, she keeps so many plays alive with her athleticism and her ball control, and that's such a plus for Penn State when they've got so many offensive weapons.
Definitely is. Checking back in, Kendall Pierce, the junior DS, to serve. Maddie Bug takes that second ball over and gets the point.
Perfect pass by Stanford, able to attack right back.
And we want to welcome those of you who've been watching Washington defeat Wisconsin in women's soccer. Krista Bluck along with Holly McPeak, and we've got a good one. #1 Penn State and #2 Stanford here in set #4. The Cardinal are up 2-1. And this one's just gone back and forth.
Nia Grant, #7 in blue. You see her right there. So good from the right side. Quick arm, high attack point, very lethal.
Lacey Fuller with the serve. Bug, the short, quick to the middle. They've tried for Moretta Lutz. Moretta Lutz wasn't happy about the way it looked, but the point is good, and they will take it.
Doesn't matter how it hits the floor. The location was good. 6'8" Moretta Lutz gets her arm up. Contact wasn't great, finds the opening, though.
Sydney Brown comes back in to serve for Jordan Burgess, freshman out of Tampa, Florida. They were club teammates in Florida. Back set, quick swing by Nia Grant. She has one of the quickest swings I've seen.
Very quick swing, but back-to-back swings in the same location. Stanford needs to adjust that set, make her hit something else. She's very comfortable hitting that cutback cross court.
Senior out of Warren, Ohio, and an All-American honorable mention last season. Tries to find a little opening up front, but instead the service error and the point to the Cardinal. Janaku back in as well as McGee. You see Nia Grant over talking to the assistant. She'll get a breather. Hancock tries to tip it over. Howard was there, but the big swing again, the touch by the Cardinal, and the point to Penn State.
When we talked to Coach Russ Rose from Penn State, he talked about Allie Franny. He said, you know, she might get stuff. She's going to just hit harder and harder. She doesn't see the block well yet, but I've been impressed with some of her decisions. Swinging high around a big block, sharp inside angle. Making some good decisions for a freshman at this level.
What a serve by Micah Hancock.
There you see one of the best servers in collegiate volleyball, Micah Hancock, the most outstanding player in the 2013 NCAA tournament. And that's why one of her weapons from the service line, not only does she run the offense, but she's a point scorer from the service line.
And Holly, she didn't come in as a specialized setter. She was a hitter in high school also, as well as an impressive server. Touch at the net there. Outside to Howard, into the block and down for the point. And that will allow Micah Hancock to continue to serve.
Stanford digs a lot of balls. I want to see Inky as a weapon in transition. She can run cleaner routes and make herself more available to her setter to score points.
John Dunning calls the timeout as Penn State goes up by 6 here in set number 4. Got to figure out the answer. I think, as you said, Inky Ajanaku was an option there. They chose to not go to her.
She didn't run a very clean route, making herself available to the setter. So I understand the decision, but that needs to be something that you work on when you have that type of talent on your side of the net. That's a weapon. You want to use it all the time and make her available.
High expectations for this Stanford Cardinal team, a team that finished second last year in Pac-12 play. This year, they were picked first in the preseason, and not too far behind them in votes was USC. Also, Washington in the 3 spot, a team that ended up going very far last year. What stands out to you?
Well, Washington beat USC in 5 to get back to the Final Four in Seattle last year, and that was an impressive win. I was there. USC is loaded. They run a 6-2. They've got a lot of weapons and continue to reload with a lot of talent. Much like Penn State, they do a great job recruiting and have big guns. Ebony Wanabu was particularly good at the end of last season in the NCAA tournament. So I think they're a team to be reckoned with for sure.
9 teams making it in last year. It was a record for the Pac-12. It will be interesting as you saw the votes there. It is jumbled up everywhere, though. There could be some major surprises throughout the conference. There are a lot of very good teams.
Coach Jim McLaughlin at Washington does a fantastic job. I'm always impressed with what he gets out of his team. He runs a fantastic system, and he really gets the most out of his personnel. So I always expect him to battle for those top spots.
Micah Hancock back to serve again. After Stanford called their second timeout, and that one an effective one as Bo Cather gets the point.
Inky was an option, but the fastball, the Bowcather, and the block could not get there because they were honoring Inky Ajanaku in the middle.
That serve, a floater to the back right corner, and the smile on the face of Morgan Bowcather. Give her the ace.
Morgan Bowcather is feeling it. You can tell she's so confident. This is coffin corner, hits the back line after a big kill, comes up with an ace.
Her second of the season, tried the same spot that time, too long, so the error and the point now going to Penn State. Substitution as Simone Lee checks back in. And Lainey Pierce goes back, the freshman DS, to serve. Howard off the block. Short, quick to Ajanaku, but Hancock was there. And just too much on it from Megan Courtney. What a shot.
Megan Courtney, big swing on the right side for Penn State, 17 in blue. Russ Rose calls her their best all-around player. Big swing cross court, too much heat to handle.
And that serve floats out, so the point and the serve will go back to Stanford. Allie Franti checking back in for Penn State. She has been so effective. Sarah Benjamin back in for the Cardinal. Freshman DS. Tough one to get to by Hancock. And it goes just long.
Micah Hancock puts up a hittable ball on an off pass where they're out of system. Big, strong hands, runs fast, puts up a ball that's very hittable, and that's so key for Penn State and their success in the offseason and the postseason.
Hancock back set to Megan Courtney, and so much on it, it just ricochets off and out of bounds. Sarah Benjamin, it was coming right at her.
Penn State purposely attacking that right back position.
Gonzalez with the serve. Pass a little off the mark. Burgess gets there, but so does the block. Megan Courtney with the block.
Megan Courtney and Nia Grant, huge block. This is an out-of-system play. Maddie Bugg didn't have any other options, so Penn State camps out. Big block for Penn State.
Morgan Bowcather back in for the Cardinal. Bugg goes to Burgess outside, gets above the block that time and gets the point.
Better, Stanford passing the ball, able to get Burgess an in-system play. Inky's an option from the beginning. Burgess attacks high seam.
Loretta Lutz back in for the Cardinal, and Kyle Gilbert back to serve. Gonzalez gets it. Bowcather keeps it alive. Burgess had to go quickly. Lutz in the middle, tips it over. Tough shot again by Megan Courtney. What a big arm she has.
Penn State continues to go to that right side where they've had so much success, and Megan Courtney taking some big swings very successfully for Penn State.
14 kills, 4 blocks for her. Kendall Pierce will come in to serve, but Megan Courtney, the junior, started most of last season. Bowcather out of the back. Lutz tries to set it. Burgess tips it in. Hancock tries to take that second ball over. They'll say it just goes wide. It'll go to the Cardinal.
Big aggressive swing by Micah Hancock. I actually thought it was in, but I want to see this replay. Ooh, that is in. I thought it was just my old age seeing it in, but I did see it in.
You saw it right. She thought the same thing, but a break for the Cardinal. Burgess.
Morgan Bocather is not getting on top of that ball, hitting it a little too flat.
She was hoping for the touch, does not get it. Another point for Penn State. Lacey Fuller now to serve.
Penn State's offensive numbers dominant in this fourth set, hitting 417 as a team to Stanford's 125, and those numbers just going down with all those unforced hitting errors by Stanford.
Jordan Burgess was trying to get it over the double block, and it was just too much. Lutz, the timing not quite there. Franti into the block. And some emotion from the freshman.
Stanford needs a point scorer. Morgan Bocather is scoring points at a high rate. She needs some help.
Burgess has been a go-to, but has struggled some. Bocather in the middle. A play we haven't seen a whole lot is Bocather in the middle, but it was effective right there.
But if you know you have a player who's going to score points, you put them in a location where they can score, and that's what Maddie Bug did.
Sydney Brown will come back in to serve for Jordan Burgess.
Coach John Dunning says great things about Sydney Brown, 6-foot freshman, powerful pin hitter. She's the first off the bench to fill in at any hitting position and comes in to serve.
Off the net and in. Hancock tries to tip it to the back corner. What an up by the libero, Kyle Gilbert. Bump set from Lutz over to Bocather. Took it right at the block, got it to go down.
Number 17 in white. We keep saying she's 6'8". I've never seen a volleyball player that tall, but her ball control and her setting ability is impressive. Penn State hitting 440, Stanford 111. That's been the huge difference in this set. In Stanford, it's been a lot of unforced hitting errors.
That is definitely a big difference. What a serve there. But it came right back at her. Sydney Brown wasn't quite ready in the back row after a phenomenal serve.
Penn State continues to stay on the attack, and Micah Hancock, no matter where the pass is, she's putting up a hittable ball for her big guns who like to score points.
She is quite a special player. As Nia Grant goes back to serve. And just wide, and Brittany Howard making sure she followed that one all the way. Almost got in the way. Grace Kennedy back in to serve for the Cardinal. And Nia Grant again over to the sideline, talking things over. And just too much. Tough break for Kennedy coming in.
Coach John Dunning is taking Jordan Burgess out of the game because she's struggling with the rhythm on her serve, putting Sydney Brown in, and now she's struggling.
Not the answer that he wanted, and he's talking to Kennedy, not what she wanted to do, I'm sure, as well. Hancock, that tough serve. Bocather. And Hancock could not get there. Nice play there by Morgan Bocather.
There's your point scorer for Stanford. She's doing a fantastic job. Career high, 14 kills, hitting 344.
She's coming off of what was her career high, 13 kills at Nebraska. She also had a career high 19 digs in that one. She goes to Nebraska, has a double-double, career highs in both, and she is exceeding that already here in this one. What a season for Morgan Bocather.
And it's only week 2.
Ayanna Whitney hasn't been the most consistent for Penn State, but when she's been in, Holly, she's made things happen. Ayanna Whitney Whitney, the redshirt junior out of Norwood, New Jersey. She can play outside, she can play middle. She's moved around a little bit for Russ Rose.
Versatile player. She can play anywhere for this Penn State team.
Lainey Pierce, the freshman, in to serve. Bug out to Howard. The block was there, and it just landed inside the line. Tough break for the Cardinal, and the point to Penn State.
Wow, the linesman was all over that. Everybody turned to watch this ball. Cross court, it's hard to tool. That one looked out.
Are they even now? I don't know. But we are at set point here in the fourth. Bug out to Howard, tries to tip it over the block. Back set to Megan Courtney. She's been so effective. And the free ball back to Penn State. Megan Courtney again got everything behind it. And the Nittany Lions able to take set number 4, and we will go to a 5th.
Stanford needs more players scoring points, putting the ball on the floor. Inky Ajanaku needs more sets, more opportunities.
Russ Rose's team regrouping after losing 2 in a row. We'll have the 5th one for you right after this.
It's a Pac-12 Big Ten Women's Volleyball Showdown. Second-ranked Stanford goes head-to-head with 9th-ranked Illinois, or 17th-ranked Arizona State duels with Iowa. Live coverage starts Sunday at 11 on Pac-12 Networks.
Take the game wherever you go. With Pac-12 Now, you can watch Pac-12 Networks on your phone, your tablet, and online. On the go, anywhere, anytime. Live games, highlights, expert analysis, and more. Download Pac-12 Now.
I really wanted to play water polo because it was kind of that contact sport. I was kind of an aggressive kid, so I wanted to start playing on a team sport.
When they get it in deep to Ashley Grossman, she buries it.
With academics and athletics, it's a balance. It's a give and take of a little bit of everything. We're not only athletes, we're student athletes.
The outlet to Grossman, numbers for Stanford, and a goal. Just too easy for the Cardinals.
Coming out of the locker room with the team, wearing the same colors, being in this black slick suit with Stanford on my chest, really, really made me feel like this was my time. Here I am at Stanford, I've made it, and this is what I want to be doing, and I'm so happy.
Stanford, your 2014 NCAA Women's Water Polo champions. Everyone into the water.
I'm Ashley Grossman, member of Stanford Women's Water Polo team. Go Card!
Last year, we brought home 10 new national titles. This year, we're going to claim a few trophies more. We call it the Power of 12. On the field and in the gym, on the track and in the water. Extending our legacy as the country's most elite athletic conference. This is your Pac-12, the Conference of Champions.
We are getting ready for set number 5. Of course we are. It's number 1 Penn State and number 2 Stanford here at Maples Pavilion, and we've had a good one. Thanks for being with us, Crystal Blunt, along with Holly McPeak. And Holly, are you surprised at what you've seen so far?
No, this is what I expected, a battle till the end. I cannot wait to see what happens in this 5th set.
Well, there's been a couple of stars on both sides, and really for Penn State, it's been their freshman, Allie Franti. On the other side, it's a player that's moved her way back into the starting lineup for Stanford, and that's Morgan Bocather.
Morgan Bocather having a career night. She's been doing it all preseason. She is the leader on this Stanford team. But here you see freshman Allie Franti getting it done for Penn State. She's got 19 kills, hitting .412 from the left side against a very strong defensive Stanford team.
Double-double for Allie Franti, and then Morgan Bocather on the other side. She has been phenomenal as well.
Starting with a block, getting it done. And then the hammer cross court. She has 14 kills, hitting .344 on the night. She is the big point scorer for Stanford tonight.
Penn State took set number 1. Stanford took sets 2 and 3. And now set 4 going to Penn State. will put us right here into set number 5. Allie Franti, the freshman, has not disappointed. 19 kills, hitting .412, and 10 digs to go along with it. Just has a leadership quality. You just don't, she's so mature, and you just get a confidence from her. Really impressive.
This is going to be fun. Penn State starting in rotation 6, so their next server is Micah Hancock.
She is so tough. Both of these teams have set up incredible schedules. We knew this one would be a big one. Leah Grant will start things off here in set 5. Howard goes down the line, and a nice up by Megan Courtney. A short, quick to Ajanaku, and that is the play by her, Holly, that stands out of my mind from last season. I don't think the Cardinal fans have seen enough of it here tonight.
Well, I think they should have set her on the first serve receive ball, but they did it on the second ball, but that's one too many swings in my mind. 12 kills, 3 blocks, hitting .348 on the night. Those are better numbers, but I still think she can be more dominant. She's capable of it.
She needed just 4 kills coming into this one to get her 600th, and she's obviously exceeded that. Gets a hand on that with the block, and she just keeps moving. Franti, that set a little off the mark, I thought. She was in an awkward position and still able to get that on it.
Allie Franti is a point scorer, bottom line, takes big swings, doesn't have to be in system to find a way to put the ball down.
Hancock with the serve. Howard takes a little bit off. Franti did have to readjust on that one. Franti down the line. Quick feet by her to get herself back and set. She started that play.
Free ball, she took it with her hands, got right back in position, but gave her setter a ball where she could have set anything. Micah Hancock has a lot of confidence in Allie Franti, her freshman.
She definitely does. Russ Rosewell as well. The way the season's going, and just missing that back line, and a side out for the Cardinal. Brittany Howard, the junior, who I think kind of flew under the radar last season. A lot of teams would kind of forget about her with players like Carly Wopat and others up front. Off the block, and the back row can't get there. Point Penn State.
I think Stanford's in a tough rotation right now. Maddie Bugg's in the front row. Inky Ajanaku's in the front row as a weapon, and Jordan Burgess. But if they don't really force the ball to Inky, it's only Jordan Burgess carrying the offensive load.
Burgess off the block. Megan Courtney with authority. She's got a lot of power.
Penn State keeping the ball alive defensively, getting Megan Courtney that swing for a point.
And a serve into the net by Allie Franti. She hasn't had many errors tonight, but that one there gives the point to the Cardinal. Gilbert with the serve, back to Gonzalez. Bump set to Burgess, tips it into the block, they send it out. Somehow the Cardinal get the point off that one.
That's a big kill by Jordan Burgess. She was trapped. Used the hands of the blocks for Penn State in her favor.
Smart decision by the junior. Tough serve, free ball over from Lee. A short, quick to Lutz. Lutz back set to Burgess. Simone Lee. she gets a hold of it, Holly. Wow.
Heavy arm, Simone Lee from the left, just powers through the seam. But Penn State, the last two plays, gave free balls over off the side out. Very uncharacteristic of his team, very aggressive hitters.
Hard off the block and out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cardinal. Maddie Bug back to serve. Tied up here in set 5. And just way too much on that one for Maddie Bug.
Crunch time, back and forth. I love it. Both teams trading momentum.
Let's see Maddie calling out the play.
Moretta Letts, she had an early ankle sprain this season, so she hasn't played a bunch, but getting some big playing time tonight.
Yeah, they've just gotten her back. Burgess at the block, down and in. Point Cardinal.
Big, quick swing by Jordan Burgess. Again, didn't have a lot of room. Fast out to the pin, able to get it on the Penn State side of the net.
Sydney Brown will come back in. Give Jordan Burgess another rest. She was struggling early with her serve, and John Dunning chose to bring in Brown. Slide into the block. And a little readjustment there by Simone Lee, goes out of bounds. That gets this crowd into it a little bit.
Well, when you're in the 5th set, you don't want hitting errors, and that's the first hitting error of the set for Penn State. Stanford still with 0 hitting errors.
1 point lead by the Cardinal here in set 5. Back set, slide just wide from Nia Grant.
Hitting error number 2, and when you're in the 5th set, it's who makes the least amount of errors.
The teams will switch sides. The Cardinal with a 2-point lead here in set number 5.
Everyone here is very bright, very motivated to be successful. And now you get all those people together and show them they can be motivated together and be successful together. You get Stanford University. Every single one of them on the team now, I've looked their parents in the eye and told them that we want to make them best they can be on the football field and in the classroom and then beyond Stanford University. We teach them how to have the habits that lead to that success on and off the field. That's extremely gratifying. I do think about the coaches that have been here. For me personally, I do want to make them proud. I always think about my old coach, Bill Walsh, and what he did here. I think about what Coach Harbaugh did here, and I want to make sure that we never think about maintaining, but we talk about taking the next steps. It's about the young people that we have, and we mold them and teach them and give them opportunities to perform, and they've been making us proud.
Back here at Maples Pavilion, number 1 Penn State and number 2 Stanford, and the Cardinal with a 2-point lead here in set number 5. And this is just the beginning of a big night here. We have a doubleheader with our Pac-12 Big Ten Challenge, brought to you by ASICS. Coming up, we have number 9 Illinois taking on UCLA. The Bruins, Holly, lead that all-time series. Illinois is yet to find a way to beat them.
Last time they played was in the 2011 NCAA championship match, where UCLA defeated Illinois 3-1.
That should be a good one also. Looking forward to that. Right now, still a lot of play here in set 5, as it has been back and forth. We expected it from the top 2 teams in the nation, and they're giving it to us. Roll serve there by Brown, but able to handle it on the other side is Simone Lee. So a good timeout for Penn State.
Micah Hancock isolating her hitter, only 1 blocker in front of Lee. Advantage always the hitters.
McGee will get a rest. Lacey Fuller comes back in. Bo Cather off the block. Micah Hancock tries to dump, tries to take that one over, and instead it ends up a point to the Cardinal.
Big opportunity. Micah Hancock goes aggressively. At least she was aggressive. When you're going to make an error, you want to be aggressive trying to go for it.
Megan McGee back to serve.
3 hitting errors for Penn State in this last set.
There's that middle play to Inky Ajanaku.
Awesome. That's what I want to see every time from Stanford. You cannot stop her one-on-one. Get it high and quick. Advantage Stanford.
And Russ Rose wants a timeout here in set number 5. That's time for our State Farm Get to a Better State. And Holly, I would say that Bo Cather has definitely gotten to a better state.
It's called the zone. She is playing career volleyball. And it's a nice time. Her senior year, she's feeling it. She's confident. She's leading the Stanford team.
Morgan Bo Cather out of Newport Beach was a starter for the first 2 seasons. Last year played just 22 sets. Played a little different role on this team, but she's come in this year and had spectacular numbers.
At Nebraska last week, 13 was her career high. Now already tonight, 15, and this match is not over.
A career high tonight, as you said, 15. But you can see at Iowa State, 5 kills for her there. More than doubled that at Nebraska. Now she's just continuing on. That's a good sign when you see that progression.
And this is a big time match to have those type of numbers, a career match against big time opponents. That's a big statement Morgan Bo Cather's making for Stanford.
You also just saw a smile on her face. So at this stage in a very big match, always good to see that the team might be relaxing a little bit more too, because that was not the case early on in this one, but she is feeling good. Here in set 5, Russ Rose called the timeout, talking things over with his fairly young team. 3 starters and his libero back from the national championship team last season, but 8 new players. He said, we are very young, kind of going flashes at times. Megan McGee waiting to serve. Franti, that time the block able to get there. Little roll shot by Megan Courtney out of the back. And a tough break for the Cardinal.
3 Stanford players crashed into each other trying to play that ball. Just a bad break. Let's see how this experienced and very motivated team from Stanford responds.
What a decision by Megan Courtney. She read that one perfectly. Served by Grant. They get it to Ajanaku in the middle.
Good decision by Maddie Bugg. That's where you want your kills. Inky Ajanaku is tough to stop. Make the opponents pay.
Ajanaku trained with the national team in the offseason down in Anaheim, and Coach Denning said he thinks that exposure really opened her eyes. And just going wide on that one, Ayana Whitney. Cardinal getting closer to potentially upsetting the #1 team in the nation.
Well, it's really been a story of hitting errors for Penn State in this 5th set. They actually, in the entire match, if you look at it, 28 hitting errors for the match. Stanford only has 18. That's a big difference, but in a 5th set, you cannot make 4 hitting errors. They're hitting as a team 158. Stanford's hitting 400. 6 kills, 0 hitting errors.
Russ Rose talking things over with his fairly young team, he says. And these are two of the best coaches out there. We talked about it in the open, and we have to talk about it again because they are just phenomenal. 1,128 career wins for Russ Rose and 807 career wins for John Dunning. National championships, you name it, they've done it.
Coach Russ Rose from Penn State talked about this being a learning match. We're going to go to Stanford. It's going to be a learning experience. He has a very young, talented team. They're going to learn and take away a lot from this match. They are going to be a whole different team by the end of the season. On the other side of the net, Stanford has really pulled it together when they weren't playing that well and eliminated the errors, started to pass better. Morgan Bocather has taken some big swings. Inky has come alive in the middle. And those are good signs for your team. That's an experienced team making it happen when things aren't going right.
We've got the doubleheader here. You don't want to go away. Number 9 Illinois and UCLA right after this one. We will have that one for you also here on Pac-12 Networks. And enjoying this Pac-12 Big Ten series that has begun. Howard up and over the block. Micah Hancock tried to get that one to go, and instead the block was there.
Quick ball tip. This should be a free ball. Again, Micah goes aggressive. Brittany Howard all over that.
Just wasn't much space, and back to serve is Morgan Bocather. Allie Franti catches that back corner, and the Nittany Lions needed that one.
Beautiful set. Allie Franti elevates for another big kill. Perfect location. Franti knows what to do with the ball.
Penn State needs a rally right here. They have their best server back in Micah Hancock. And she gets too much on it, trying to do too much. This crowd gets on their feet. We are at match point. Megan Courtney, she's been so effective. And the free ball over from the Cardinal. Courtney again, big swing.
Jordan Burgess for Stanford kept that ball alive on the first swing, but they couldn't stop Courtney on her second swing. Penn State staying alive.
Another match point as Franti will come out and Lainey Pierce will come in to serve. Outside to Burgess, off the block, match point. John Dunning shaking his head a little bit, Holly. He and Russ Rose having a little laugh. I don't know about you, but we might see these teams pair up again sometime down the road. What do you think?
I say at the end of the season, this has great potential to be the last match. And we're going to see different looks from both teams. I think the Penn State team will mature and be so much better. And I think Stanford will find a way to make Inky Ajanaku more effective and just clean up the errors and the areas that they can make themselves more aggressive.
I think there's no doubt that a match like this really teaches both teams and gives them an opportunity to look at themselves and say, okay, these are the things that worked and these are things we need to work on.
It's character building. It's an early preseason test. I don't think Coach Russ Rose expected to win this match. He's got the personnel to do it, but he knew this was going to be a lesson early season, and I think it was good. I think we saw some great things from them.
Well, the Stanford Cardinal very happy about the win, and it was a big one. It wasn't looking good after set one, but they were able to regroup and come back. They took it to 5, and they get it. Number 2 Stanford not for long, over #1 Penn State. What a great start to this Pac-12 Big Ten Challenge Series. And you don't want to go away because we've got another one for you after this one.
I'm excited to see Illinois and UCLA compete. It's always fun to see a Big Ten team like Illinois. They are going to be a tough team for UCLA to contend with tonight. Illinois #9 in the country.
Hopefully this crowd will stick around as well. They are volleyball fans here at Maples, and they have been on their feet the majority of this set. So happy to see their Cardinal get the win over Penn State in 5. Don't go away. Coming up next, #9 Illinois and UCLA. We'll have it for you.
Everything matters. We don't ease into a practice. We don't ease into games. We're going to win with every little detail.
We're tempoing now, man. We're tempoing.
UCLA's training camp is nearing its end. But before the Bruins emerge from summer hibernation, their head coach makes certain everyone understands the mission at hand.
Listen up. A couple things here. A lot of expectations and a lot of talk out there about this football team, isn't there? All that matters is the men in this room. That's all that matters. Our expectations, our standard, our work ethic, that's what matters. This year is about 3 things, okay? It's about this team, the men sitting around you, your teammates, and our mission, okay? Our mission. That's the day-to-day grind that leads us to our objective. So our team, our teammates, and our mission.
The players must focus only on the step before them, not the ones that lie further down the path. That is how UCLA football will reach their ultimate goal.
As a program, everybody in this room knows what the main thing is, right? This is what we want.
A lot of hype around this year's team, yeah. I think in football there are just a tremendous amount of life lessons to be learned every day.
Never lose sight of focus. Broken focus is the #1 reason people fail. It's the little things that are going to make you great.
It's about being part of a team, you know, working towards a common goal.
Every yard, every stop, every point, every interception, everything that we do this year comes from right in this room, no place else. The vision is the act or power of anticipating that which will or may come to be.
It's about competition. It's about winning.
For 11 guys for 78 plays, all right, to be graded as a plus on a finish grade. That's our mission.
Untied, unbeaten, undefeated.
Today's final mission is a night scrimmage. If they perform well, if their coaches believe they are ready to play, tomorrow will be a day off. But passing this test will not be easy.
I appreciate the way you guys came out here and worked today. I'm going to tell you one more time. You make great decisions. You protect the team, okay? If you do something out, all right, you're with a teammate. we're freaking 2 weeks away. Is that awesome or what?
The Bruins are ready to play football. Now, they can just play.
Feels great, you know. I feel like I accomplished something in my life. I feel like I'm part of the team now, you know. Just out here trying to have fun with the boys.
The weather is crazy though. It's nice.
I might get in. I don't know yet. I gotta make up my mind. It's a little windy and it's kind of cold, you know.
Oh, it feels so good. The better your vertical, the more tricks you got in your bag. And I don't got that high of a vertical, so I don't think I'll be